massive right hand. Look at that. Look at this.
He's going to feel pain that he never felt before.
Big Dolphin.
Hard work, dedication, what did I tell you, boys?
I'm famous in New York, baby.
Soldiers dinner, number one for Christmas.
Big old wood on top like this here.
Oh, he's caught him. Big left hand from Warrington. Oh, what a great shot. Corcoran just keeps on coming. And he puts him down with the left hand. Oh, my goodness. Somehow Fury has managed to get up. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here today. And those were some of the highlights of an extraordinary 2018. We're going to be joined by a lot of our main fighters coming up for 2019 up here on the stage shortly, of course, including Tyson Fury. But Frank, when you look back, Frank Warren alongside me, when you look back at some of those highlights, 2018 really was something very special.
It was. We had fight of the year, round of the year. We've gone strength to strength with BT. It's been a fantastic journey, and this year's going to be even bigger and better.
When you look at some of those contests, and notably, I suppose, Tyson's fight, Josh's fights, but others as well, it seemed that BT and BT box office were really setting the agenda in terms of competitive fights.
Competitive and quality fights, and fights that should be pay-per-view, and that's the benchmark. And as I say, it's onwards and upwards. All the guys are here today. They've got a great platform to work, to be seen on, you know, not just on BT, but also on ESPN, so they're getting great exposure in the States. This is a fantastic time to be in boxing for boxers. This is an era now where these guys can go and really make big name for themselves, both sides of the pond, and obviously it can be very lucrative for them.
We've both been around a year or two, but 2019, in boxing terms, British boxing terms, but particularly in terms of BT and BT box office, it's exciting.
Very, very exciting. I'm excited. You know, I promote, obviously, I manage fighters, but most of all, I'm a boxing fan, and it don't get any better than this.
Now, you alluded there to the ESPN situation. And that is really the big news, or one of the big news items of today. Can you just clarify exactly what that ESPN deal is all about?
Yeah, Tyson Fury and Queensberry have signed a long-term deal with ESPN. They will be Tyson's exclusive broadcasters in the States. They have a platform of just nearly 3 million subscribers on ESPN Plus and ESPN. This is going to be something special for Tyson. It gives him a chance to become the guy that you want to fight now. We've not got to go like he had to go to Germany to fight Klitschko, like he had to go to fight Wilder on Showtime. That no longer happens. We have the biggest platform for him to be on, and that means he is in a tremendous position as far as a boxer's concerned, and it's a fabulous deal for him.
It puts you in a stronger position and in a position of long-term strength.
Well, it does. I mean, but, you know, ESPN and BT combined with what we're doing with both these, you know, with both the broadcasters, we're in these guys are in a great position, and Tyson's in a fantastic position. He will get all what he wants, which is to be the guy, you know, he's the lineal champion. He's the blue corner. He's not the red corner. That's what he's going to be. He's the blue corner now. And
before we welcome the big fella up onto stage, actually, in world terms now, how do you see Tyson Fury's position in stance? How important a player now in the world heavyweight division is he? Is he, in your eyes, number one?
I think in most people he's number one. You look at the social media, most people think he's the number one heavyweight out there. He's the heavyweight that steps up to the plate. He's done it. He goes to the other guy's backyard. He can't do no more than he does. And he's getting the respect from the public for it, certainly from the British public. And also, it must be said, from the Americans now, because ESPN have gone and put themselves, you know, on the block here. They've said, we want this guy. This is the guy we want to get behind. So, as I say, two great broadcasters, BT pushing out the boat here, and also in the States. He's in a fantastic position, where he should be, because he is the number one lineal champion. He's the lineal champion. And it's not a belt, as some promoters said. Lineal, there's not a lineal belt. It's the guy that, from history, he's the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy. That's what he is. He's the number one.
Well, let's waste no more time in welcoming him up to the stage. Tyson Fury, lineal champion of the world, is going to join myself and Frank here, and we'll discuss exactly what this agreement and what the immediate future is going to bring for him. And here he comes.
Is this mic working? No?
We've got you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Gypsy King's back on stage. John, how are we?
Tyson, good to see you.
Frank, cheers,
How
mate.
you doing, young man?
Right, Bill, Nathan, the boys.
Well, Tyson, first off, you're clearly in great shape.
I can't remember being better. Are these mics even working?
It's working. It's
Can
working.
everybody hear me? Or is it just my voice that can hear?
No, we can.
Yeah, I feel
hear us
good,
all.
John. Feel good. Trained right through the Christmas and New Year, and ever since. I've got like a habit of training every day, and keeps me well, keeps me fit and in shape, and get paid to do it, so it's not a bad old job, really.
So just explain then, from your perspective, what this ESPN deal means for you.
My grip of it, which is not a very clever one, but my gist of it all is ESPN are the biggest sporting network in the world, combined with BT Sports. So I'll have dual viewers from America and the UK. And it gives me an opportunity to fight on the biggest broadcasting network in the world and be shown to the most people, and to be able to be in a position to make the biggest and best fights possible and not be an opponent. They have to come to the Tyson Fury show now because I've got my own platform in America and the UK. So it puts me right on top where I should be. And now they're going to have to come through me.
Well, let's move on to the big question, I guess, that everybody watching this and following boxing is going to want to know. We've talked a lot about Deontay Wilder. We all remember that extraordinary fight on December the 2nd when you produced just the most amazing performance. But, Frank, what about the rematch?
Well, Tyson wants it. We all want it, and we've got to make it happen. It's a different situation now. Showtime's not the only game in town. It's changed dramatically, so it's up to us now to sit down and try and get it over the line.
And from your perspective, I mean, how much do you want the guy in the ring again?
Listen, if I didn't want to fight him, I wouldn't have took it in the first place. As far as I'm concerned, the fight is more makeable now than ever because we have the biggest boys in the game behind us. And I'm only a fighter. I can only fight who they put in front of me. I want the biggest fights, the Joshuas, the Wilders of the world, and everybody else out there too.
He'll be watching. He'll be watching this, you can be sure of that.
Well, if you're watching, Deontay, I'm coming for you, baby! For again, and this time you can't rip me off.
Well, it's how soon, Frank, in realistic terms, can we see that happening? I mean, we're talking about Tyson being back in the ring, maybe in the next 2 or 3 months.
We want him out as soon as possible. Obviously, the talks will continue, but he's not going to sit around waiting. We will get him out. Tyson needs to fight. It's what he's training all the time for. He wants to be active, and he wants to become a big star. You know, this ESPN situation for him is probably one of the biggest things to happen to a British sportsman. The platform he's now got is huge. 3 million, as I said earlier, 3 million subscribers. That's bigger than anyone gets seen. Any fighters get seen in the States. You know, certainly a British fighter, and it's something special. So, the name of the game: get out there, be busy, let the American public as well as the British public see him, and get these belts. That's what it's all about. This deal.
So, his next fight, are we talking about it being in America or being over here?
Well, we will see what happens. That's what we're working on at the moment. It probably looks like being in America, but anything can happen, as we all know, because this time 10 days ago or a week ago, we weren't even talking about ESPN. So lots of things happen in boxing. But this is a good thing for Tyson, and it's now up to us to go out there and make sure the fights that he craves and wants, we deliver.
Tyson, how much did that Wilder fight actually mean to you when you look back at it?
So I trained hard for the fight. It was what I wanted. I asked Frank to get me the Wilder fight after 2 combat fights. Everybody in my team said it's a bad idea. But me and I spoke to Billy Joe, and he said it's a dare to be great move. He said
It was
because
a good move for you.
Yeah, it was a dare to be great move because who'd have thought after only 2 fights, low-level opposition, one was a comeback blow away and one was to get a few rounds in, that I could have come back on that level and did what I did. Not many people. And I dared to be great, and I come out the other side smelling the roses. And
Chuck me my 10% twice a night.
yeah, 100%. What did it mean to me? Well, it doesn't mean nothing to me at the minute because it's in the past and we can't change what's happened and all that. And it is what it is. I look forward to the future.
Tell us from your perspective, though, what the public reaction has been like. Because, I mean, from my point, sort of sitting one step removed, if you like, you seem to have become this amazing folk hero and people are with you now.
I get a lot of support. The support I've had over the last few months has been great. Thank you to everybody who supported me. It's been a fantastic journey, to say the least. Like, 2 years ago, I was down and out. I was overweight. We've all heard the story a million times. 28 stone, addicted to drugs and alcohol, depressed, anxiety, all these things, Frank. And then to come back to look at me today, looking like an Adonis, like, it's a Cinderella story, isn't it?
Cinderella.
It's what dreams are made out of. And I'm living this dream. And I'm here today to tell a massive story. And I'm on tour at the minute and I'm promoting mental health at the minute, massively. And more than boxing, Frank, I know you don't want to hear this.
I do.
But more than boxing, it means more to me than any boxing match and any contest or any belt I can ever win. I've already won every belt there is to win in boxing anyway. I beat all the do-gooders and all the so-called top men. To me, it's about spreading the word on mental health and helping people around the world, the millions and millions of people who suffer in silence with problems and can't come out. If I can come out 7 foot nearly and 20 stone and a big heavyweight champion of the world, then anybody can get help. So it's an amazing story and it needs to be told more.
How proud are you to have got where you are now from where you were? Because, I mean, anybody can see looking at you now, you look like an athlete.
Well, I've never looked like an athlete, John, and I don't suppose if I took my shirt off now I'd look like one. I'm just a fat, bald-headed fella who does what he does and he's good at something, naturally gifted, I suppose. I'm very proud of what I've achieved because when I started boxing as a young boy, the odds of becoming a world champion is astronomical. I've won every belt along the way, like I've just said. It's been an amazing journey. I've had my ups and downs, but, you know, along with the sunshine, there has to be a little rain sometimes. That was a great song.
As the song went.
Yeah. And, you know, I have had a lot of sunshine, but I've had a lot of rain too, and I suppose it builds character. It does, it really does, you know. I'm sat here today, a man who's had glory, fame, and lots of pain too. So I'm an experienced campaigner in the division. Not only can I talk about boxing and know what I'm talking about, I can talk about all the other things because I'm experienced and I've been there and wore the T-shirt. So it's great. It's a new chapter for me. I'm in my second career anyway. This is my third career now with ESPN as well. So I've had a million careers, a million lives, and I'm just so thankful for everyone who keeps giving me the opportunities. And all I've got to do is just keep winning and keep doing what I do best, training and keeping out of trouble and staying on the straight and narrow. And I think I'll be all right.
Well, let's talk about the two big names, about Deontay and, of course, about AJ, about Anthony Joshua, who's got his own fight coming up in June. But Deontay, first of all, having had that fight in December the 2nd in Los Angeles, how much now do you actually burn for the chance to get in there and complete, really, what you started but didn't actually finish?
To be honest, I'm happy with whatever happens in my life, whatever cards I'm dealt, I'm happy with. Whatever's happened before, I'm happy with everything because I'm healthy and well sat here. You know, on the same night Adonis Stevenson got a bit of brain damage or whatever, and hope he gets well soon and all that. But we're in a very dangerous sport. And not only more than winning, and like I said, more than any fights, to go home healthy to my family is a massive thing. I've got 5 kids and a wife, and if I got brain damaged, it'd be the end of everything. There would be no continuing. So it's a very dangerous world we live in. I'm just very thankful to be sat here healthy and well-minded and fit as a fiddle and healthy as a trout. You know, Deontay Wilder, great guy, top fella, good fighting man, but to me, he's still a big useless dosser. And they had to rob me in America to get a decision. Well, they never got a decision. They got a draw. They've basically messed me record up by giving me a big old blue tick on me record. It is what it is. I can't complain. I'm healthy and well, and I'm out of trouble, which is the most important things you can be in life.
Frank, where does Anthony Joshua sit in all of this? Because everybody who follows boxing, as well as wanting Deontay Wilder against Tyson, are wanting Anthony Joshua against Tyson.
We did try to make the fight, and it's very simple. It was a 50-50 fight, but they didn't want it. They wanted to keep all the money. And to be quite honest, I don't think they even wanted the fight because no one approached us to make the fight at all. So he's now going to the States. He's fighting his name, Big Baby Miller. He's fighting him out there. And that'll be his debut in America on the Zone. So they'll get on with their business. Do we want to make the fight? Would we like to see the fight? Of course we'd like to see the fight. But you know what? We're on a bigger platform with more subscribers. You know, ESPN in the States is a massive channel. It's the biggest sports channel out there. It's got, as I just said, it's got the most subscribers. So Tyson's got the shop window. And I think they're going to have to come to us to make this fight now. The game has changed dramatically as far as that's concerned.
What a difference a year makes.
What a difference a few months make. It's
different a few weeks can make.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest, and it's only happening for one reason and one reason only, because of Tyson, from where he's come from to where he's got himself to. I mean, you know, this didn't happen because of me or anyone else. It's because of himself. He committed himself to getting back into the ring. He committed himself to getting himself well, being a dad again and a husband and so forth again, and he's gone out and done it. And that is an achievement in itself. The rest of it will just fall into place now.
December the 2nd, he completely changed the landscape, didn't he?
I think, well, he did. There's no doubt about that. But for me, I've always, you know, I felt when he fought Derek Chisora the second time, I really thought Derek Chisora was going to beat him, and he took Derek to score.
Come on, Frank, show some respect.
No, I am.
For
he was coming off a good run of fights, and he's struck. Well, look what he's done with Dylan White. He only lost, but he got stops, and there was nothing. He was winning the fight. But the fact of the matter is, you took him to score, and that for me, you know, I've become a massive convert that night. And I said that night to you, you'll beat Klitschko, which you went out and did in the other guy's backyard. But you make things happen, and you've made this happen, and it's all credit to you.
Tyson, if you could look at your remaining years, however many they may be in boxing, how much do you actually want to be able to get away from it one day and say, yeah, I fought everybody and I beat everybody, in which case you would have to fight Anthony Joshua?
Listen, boxing is boxing. I suppose you can only fight who's available. And most of the time, all these big fights happen. Sometimes they never happen. And am I going to cry about it when I'm an old man, a multi-millionaire, sat down in my chair with every belt in boxing, and, you know, such a bad life? Am I going to cry about a fight that never happened? No. Not interested. Whatever fights happen, Frank's the promoter. Frank. Do you know, I was just on the phone with Max Kellerman, yeah? And he said something to me that was very, very, very true. He said, there's expectations and then there's deliverance.
Correct.
So I can expect all these big fights to happen. Now we're with Frank and ESPN and Top Rank. Just so many big names combined. If you look over there, all the names are there, and them three people are going to control boxing, as far as I'm concerned. So my expectation is colossal. But the deliverance, I'll tell you this time next year. And if we're all shite, I'll let you all know. But I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic journey. Like we say, it's all about deliverance, isn't it, Frank?
It is.
Frank said I'm going to have 3 fights this year. Hopefully I will. I had 3 fights last year in 6 months. So we've got 12 months now, Frank. Well, 10 now, because we're at the end of February, to do 3 fights, and I'll be looking forward to keeping busy, very busy.
That's the name of the game. That's what we're here for.
And that's it.
Well, last word from you then, Frank, about Tyson and what's coming up. When can we expect to see him back in the ring?
I spoke to Bob Arum last night. We're trying to sort the date out. I'd like to get it. Well, he wants to fight latest in May.
I want to fight next week.
I know you do. You look like you could fight next week.
I'm ready.
We're
ready to fight.
We're going to work on that, and hopefully within the next week we'll have the date nailed down. But there's a lot of negotiations got to go on. It's not just about when it's, and also getting certain fights made. So there's a lot to do, a lot of work to do. Because no one knew about this until today. This was a secret within the industry. I'm sure it's a big shock for Deontay Wilder this morning in his team that this has happened. So we've got a lot of telephone calls and meetings before we can move forward.
Tyson, we'll wish you all the best. I hope 2019 is going to be a big success for you.
Listen, the most important thing for me would be in 2019 to be sat here and the end of 2019 and telling you all the same thing. If I'm healthy and well and out of trouble, I've had a very successful year. So I'll see you all at the end of 19 and we'll see where we got to. All the best. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Cheers, John.
Cheers. Take care.
See you all on the other side.
Tyson in great form as ever. And Frank, before we turn our attention to immediately upcoming promotions, let's talk as well about some of the other guys who are going to be involved in months to come. Notably, I guess, first up, Josh Warrington, who had that fantastic fight on 22nd of December and an incredible fight open air at Elland Road as well, and he's got a fight against Kid Gallagher coming up.
He's fighting him, and that'll be in, we'll announce the date within the next week. That'll be in Leeds, and contrary to what everybody says, it will not be pay-per-view. That's for BT subscribers. That the subscribers will get to see that fight. It's not a pay-per-view fight.
Amazing year Josh had. Incredible year.
Fabulous year. I mean, you know, what he's done is being, you know, I mean, I've always believed in him. I always felt that there was something special about him, and he's proved it. I mean, you know, he's up there with the best in the world. There's no doubt about it. And you've got to look at his performances and the way he's won his fights. He's won them in such style, in such a good fashion. He's an excellent fighter, and he craves for bigger fights. He wanted unifications. The IBF put the Kid Galahad fights on us, but you know, Galahad's undefeated. You know, I'm sure he's not going to come to make up the numbers. So he's got a good fight there, a tough defence. But hopefully he'll come through that and we'll set up some bigger fights for him.
There are big fights up there, and there are other big names in the division. And I mean, Carl Frampton's surely going to be keeping a very close view on them. Carl's deciding that he's going to fight on, and he's still a major player in that division.
Carl and I, you know, we spoke, and his management team, we spoke, MTK, and he will be fighting probably end of May, early June, and he'll be involved in a very, very big fight.
If Carl, or when Carl fights again, we're talking about Belfast, presumably.
We will see. He may have to go on the road. It depends who he fights.
And is there a possibility somewhere down the line, maybe, of another meeting with Josh Warrington? Yeah,
I mean, the ideal world would be for Carl to go out and win a title and then make a unification fight. Providing these two guys keep winning, I'm quite sure we could do that. You know, he said there was... He's never been disingenuous towards Josh about the fight. You know, Josh got his tactics right, but he felt that he didn't get his game plan right. If we can make a rematch, we will see. That's there to be seen. And by the way, both guys were supposed to be here today and apologise. Carl's has taken his children away for half-term. He'd already booked something. And Josh has gone to the young lad who got killed in...
Oh, the funeral.
In the funeral in Leeds. He's at the funeral, and they both apologised for not being here.
Yeah. Other names as well on the books. You talk about Jack Catterall, about Zolani Tete, two names who are going to have an interesting year.
Well, Jack's the mandatory challenger to Hooker, so we will move heaven and earth to get that fight on. The WBO, I believe, will order that quite soon. So, you know, he's going to get his wish to fight for the world title.
And Zolani Tete, where would he be left? I mean, what is it now, 7 years since he's lost a fight?
Yeah, it is. He's due to defend his title, and I think they announced the date for to take place in LA. I think it's in May, so I'm not sure the exact date. So he'll defend his title on the series, you know, the WPBS series. Well,
our next show that we're going to be bringing on BT Sports is going to be on March the 8th at the Royal Albert Hall, and there are significant changes to that bill.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nicola Adams has pulled her shoulder, so she's out of action. She will not be challenging for the title there, so we've had to change all the card around. But the card will be there'll be a joint main events. You've got Anthony Yard fighting Travis Rees for the WBO Intercontinental title. Daniel Dubois fighting Razvan Kujanu for the WBO Global Heavyweight title. And then Johnny Garton's got Chris Jenkins on there. We've got Liam Williams, Joe Mullender, Lucian Reed against Indy Sanger, and many of our other young fighters. So that's a cracking fight card still, and one obviously we're all looking forward to. These two guys are big talents. They're moving forward in their careers, and each step for them is a step forward to getting into a position where they fight for big titles. And certainly in Anthony's case, it'll be a world title this year.
Right, well, let's welcome the guys up who are going to be the major players in the Royal Albert Hall bill. Anthony Yard, Daniel Dubois, Liam Williams and Johnny Garton. If you want to come and fill up the seats, that would be appreciated. Right,
I'll sit there.
OK, I think everybody should have a microphone. Right, let's start off with Johnny alongside me, who's going to be defending his British welterweight title against Chris Jenkins, tough Welshman. Now, when you ever have a fight, it never seems to be dull, does it? This isn't going to be an easy one, is it?
No, I'm always in a tough fight, as everyone knows, and I expect a tough, long night on the 8th.
How much is it going to mean to you to go and step out at such a fabulous venue, an iconic venue as the Royal Albert Hall?
Yeah, so many big names of box here. As I said before, I've gone from box at the Coronet and Old Kent Road to now the Royal Albert Hall, so it's a bit different.
Do you have to pinch yourself sometimes to think where you've got?
All the time. I still can't believe it now where I've got. You know, I'm on BT Sports now, and I never thought I'd be in this position.
And people, yeah, exactly. I mean, people said you'd never make British title level, never mind win it.
Even my coach, Al Smith, didn't think I'd get this far, so he was a bit sceptical at first about taking me on as a pro, and I've proved everyone wrong.
How much do you actually enjoy the limelight? You know, you're going to be stepping up there in this fantastic arena. How much do you actually enjoy being up there with the cameras on you and with the crowd around you?
To be honest, none of that really bothers me. I feel uncomfortable in front of cameras and stuff like that. I like to fight. That's why I got into boxing. I like to fight, and that's what I look forward to.
Well, tell us about this fight that you've got coming up against Chris Jenkins, because he's another tough kid, and if he's watching now, he'll be thinking, yeah, you can say what you like, but I'm going to do you.
No, definitely, he's very tough. We sparred once before when Liam Williams and Chris come down. It's a very tough spar, and it's going to be the same on the night. I'm expecting a long, tough night, and I'm sure there's going to be some blood because we both like to cut.
Long, gruelling fight,
Definitely.
But you're confident that you'll come out of it still the champion?
Definitely, I'm always confident to come out champion.
Frank, when you put these bills together, you know, sort of real, genuine fights where people are on the same sort of level, a lot of the time it's what it's all about, and it sometimes doesn't happen as often as it ought to.
Well, we always try to deliver that, and Johnny, amongst many other guys, they deliver when they're in there. You know they're fighting with their heart and soul, like all fighters do, but you know there's a little edge there and a special thing, and he's very well supported, so you're going to get a great atmosphere. And for the fans, that's what it's all about. They're seeing, you know, really, really good quality fights. They're seeing, you know, guys who are out there giving their all.
Well, let's talk about Liam, who's at the end here, Liam Williams, British middleweight champion, and his performance against Mark Heffron. I remember in the commentary I said, I think at one point that was close to punch perfect. He was terrific.
He was. He got his game plan and everything right on the night. You know, he's a quality performer, Liam, there's no doubt about it. He's fought for world titles. He's now gone up a weight. He seems very comfortable at that weight, in that weight division. I know he's mentioned about going down, but the fact of the matter is, you know, he's got himself into this position. He's done it. He's gone out there and done it and delivered, and we've now delivered him an opportunity to fight again in a really good quality fight at the Albert Hall.
Well, he's up against...
he's not going to come and make up the numbers, you know that.
Joe Mullender is another one who's got the reputation of being a really tough customer, Liam.
Yeah, he is, yeah. You know, he comes across as well as he keeps saying that he's going to come and have a really good fight and this and that, but it's okay to do that against opponents who can't box good enough to, you know, just outmaneuver you and these things. But obviously, these people he's been fighting as well can't punch very hard, and they're not hitting hard enough to hurt him. So it's all well and good saying that he's going to come and have a tear up and have a fight, but when he's getting hit and he's getting hurt, this is going to be a different ball game, you know.
How pleased were you with your performance against Mark Heffron in winning the title?
Yeah, it was a good performance. I wasn't really too shocked because, you know, I've always known I've had that ability to do that to Mark, but it was just a case of somebody bringing the best out of me, to be honest with you, I think, and I got a lot to thank Dom for. You know, he's really brought the best out of me and got me in terrific shape and a great mindset now. So, yeah, thanks to Dom, and it's only up from here now.
That's Dominic Ingle, who's here today, your trainer, and clearly, I mean, Billy Joe Saunders, we're going to be hearing from him shortly, and yourself as well. And I mean, talking to the pair of you, I know how much being up in that Sheffield gym has meant to you. It's given you a new bit of impetus in your career.
Yeah, definitely. It's just about being around the right people, and you know, in the gym, everybody's in good spirits and everybody has the same goals. Everybody's dedicated, you know, so it's good to be in that environment, and you know, you all rub off on each other, and it's a very good environment to be in.
Do you see yourself long-term at middleweight now?
No, I think the next one's at middle, but probably likely to go back down after that, but it just depends what opportunities present themselves, you know, so it's up to Frank really what I do. He needs to produce the goods.
I did see a little tweet that you put out to Chris Eubank saying that you wouldn't mind fancying beating up Junior if you got the opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. It's a massive fight, so any big fight I got a lot of interest in. So let's make them happen, and I'll produce the goods and show what I'm made of.
Just briefly, I know we're talking about March the 8th, but who wins Saturday, De Gale and Eubank?
It's tight. If De Gale turns up, you know, on form and boxing as he does, I think he wins. But whether he's still got that in the tank, I really don't know. So if somebody put a gun to my head, I'd probably say Eubank's going to win. Well,
hopefully that won't happen. But come March the 8th, Joe Mullender, I'll put the gun against your head on the finish of that one. Are you looking at a knockout there? Is that what you're looking to take from that fight?
Yeah, I'm gonna break him down and I'm gonna smash him to bits. It's gonna be a stoppage for sure.
Technical.
Well, I think that's said in no uncertain terms how that's likely to be. Now, so far as our heavyweight contest is concerned, Daniel Dubois at the far left, or the right as you're looking here, in his 10th professional fight, going to be fighting Razvan Kojanou, who went the distance with Nathan Gorman a week or two back. And what are you hoping to take from that one, Daniel?
Well, a win for sure, and another step in my career and where I need to be.
Where is he in his career at this stage, Frank?
He's done everything that's been asked of him. You know, he's only a young man. He's going from strength to strength. We know the opponent he's got. You know, Nathan over there, he fought him. You know, he's a tough guy. He's a big guy, and I think he'll get the best out of Daniel. So we'll have a little bit of a comparison there between the two of them. But the fact of the matter is, he's done as a young man. You couldn't do any more than he's done. It's just a shame that he got the flu before Christmas, because I think he'd obviously had another win on his belt. But he is where he is, and this year he's got to start fighting for a couple more fights, and he'll be fighting for more meaningful titles.
What was your thoughts of Razvan Kojanou against Nathan when you saw him in action? What did you think?
I watched highlights of the fight. You know, Nathan did what he had to do, get the win, and Razvan just he does what he does. He spoils. He can be messy if and you know he plays to the crowd a bit. But no, to be honest, I'm focused. I'm ready. I'm ready to fight him. I feel good.
What's your thoughts though about ultimately, in the not too far distant future, facing the big lad who's sitting on the front row, not far away, Nathan Gorman? He's 5 yards away from you. You can say exactly what you like. What are your thoughts about facing him?
Another opponent, you know. When I come through this one, and whoever Frank lines up for me, I'll face him. I'll face anyone.
You beat him?
Definitely.
How sure? 100%?
Listen, I prepare, and you know, I go on to execute. That's all.
Frank, it's one which everybody knows is brewing. It's on the back burner. How close are we to seeing Daniel against Nathan?
You're not very close at the moment. A few more fights between the two of them. Let's build this up. I want to get the awareness, the public awareness, so they both know who the guys are. Then when they step into the ring, it'll be a big fight. More importantly, we'll do it in a big venue. and from their perspective, they'll earn more money. So, you know, by the end of the year, it's something that we could see happening.
Nathan undefeated in 15, Daniel undefeated in, what did I say, 9?
Yeah.
I mean, that's perfect sort of build-up to something special.
So let's hope that it turns to 20 and 14, 15, and then it's an even bigger fight.
Now, Anthony Yard by your side against Travis Reeves. Anthony also undefeated now in 16 knockouts. Yeah. How happy are you with the way he's gone so far?
I'm very happy. Again, he had the end of the year all the way out on the undercard of Tyson's bill, and all that nonsense with a ridiculous commission out there, which stopped his fight from happening. But anyway, we're over that. He's yet again, he's got another postponement because he's supposed to be fighting at Leicester. But he's on this card now at Royal Albert Hall in London. He's a Londoner, and I think he's going to have a fight that's going to get the best out of him. Come through this, he's #1 ranked now by the WBO for Kovalev. So, you know, that's the direction he's going. That's where we're going with it.
How close do you think, Anthony, that you are now to a world title shot?
My big toe is on the doorstep. Literally, I'm very, very close. I'm literally just got to stay focused.
You saw Kovalev regain his title a few weeks back. How much do you respect him, or if you like, fear him? How dangerous is he?
Well, I didn't watch the fight. I heard about the fight. Respect for every fighter there. Every boxer in this room I respect. Because as Tyson Fury said, to get in the ring and put your life on the line, you deserve respect. But the word you just said about fear, I don't know about all that stuff. Where I grew up, fear for me was walking down the street. I don't know about going in the ring and having a one-on-one with somebody. There's no fear in that. That's just for me, personally. But in terms of respecting an opponent, I always respect my opponent.
You must be aware that people on social media, they're saying, when is Anthony Yard going to step up to that next level? How much does that irritate you, that is continuing and continuing?
Well, he steps up to the next level. I mean, you know, he's #1 ranked by the WBO. He's stepping up. If he weren't, he would be down where the others who complain about it. You know, there's a few heavyweights, light heavyweights out there who make these comments and whatever, but they're not in the position he's in. He's got there by hard work, determination. He's there. So he's now ranked by their #1. He's their mandatory. I'm sure would you call that a step up? If you was mandatory, you stepped up if you're #1. That's what it is. He's #1.
Right. Well, Travis Reeves on March the 8th. What do you know about him?
Again, don't know too much about the opponent, but for me, he's just another guy that's put in front of me. And I just see it as I got to go out there and do my job, stay focused, do what I do best, entertain, be explosive, and come out the winner.
Well, best of luck on that one, and hope it goes really well on March the 8th. Nicola Adams was supposed to be on that bill, yeah, but she's got an injury, Frank.
She's got an injury, so hopefully we can reschedule that fight in a couple of months' time, which we'll be working on.
OK, well, thank you.
And that fight will be on BT, another world title fight.
That's on Friday night at the Royal Albert Hall.
This is a Friday night for the subscribers, so again, you're getting seeing all the best youngsters in the business on BT.
OK, well, best of luck, guys. And if we can usher you off the stage now, and leave your microphones behind so that we can continue to use those. Thank you very much indeed. And if we can welcome up onto the stage now Nathan Gorman, Sam Bowen and Sam Maxwell, who are going to be main players in our Leicester show, which is being rescheduled now, Frank, for March the 23rd.
Correct, yeah. Unfortunately, excuse me, a couple of things happened. As we all know, we announced Sam's fight and his opponent pulled out on the day we announced it, and we then found a substitute. He pulled out, and we lost the Midlands area title fight, big ticket selling fight on it. And the killer for us was, as the fight's in Leicester, is Leicester City were decided to play their match 5:30 that night. So we pushed it back a month, and we'll be announcing the opponents for all the guys in the next couple of weeks. But these, again, quality fighters, and it's just a shame for them, but that happens in boxing. But they're going to have a good year. They come through their fights, they're going to go on to bigger and better things.
Well, all undefeated fighters, and let's start off, I think, with the the daddy of the group, 30 years old, Sam Maxwell from Liverpool, undefeated in 10 fights, and he's done everything right so far.
He's a great, say great, I shouldn't use those words, but he's done extremely well as a fighter now, and he has the potential to become a great fighter. I like watching him fight. He knows that. I'm a big fan of his, and he's now got he's been asked to me. He wants the big fights, and we're going to deliver them to him. Get this fight out of the way on the 23rd, and then he comes through that onwards and upwards. He's having a busy year, and he's going to fight in some significant fights.
And he's talking about. I know you've lined up a WBO European title fight for him.
Get him a top 10 ranking
against the Spaniard Kelvin Dotel.
Yeah.
And 10 fights, a title fight. You must be excited.
Yeah, very. I was hoping for a big year, 2019, and that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be. All I have to do is win, and yeah.
All you have to do is win.
That's it. The easy way.
Fantastic amateur career, running up into the pros. How much have you enjoyed the professional ranks, because you were so busy in 2018? 5 winning performances. You look a happy man.
Definitely, and I've got to be on some massive shows with some great fights, Fight of the Year, and I'm just looking forward to being in them kind of fights myself, in the coming year. So, yeah, excited.
Have you put a time schedule on it? Because without being unnecessarily rude, you're not a baby.
Yeah, definitely. But it's all built to this moment now. Like, I was hoping this will be my year, and it looks like that's going to be. So yeah, there's no rush. Like, as long as I perform the way I've been doing, it's gonna go well.
And how much are you enjoying it all, being a professional fighter?
Really enjoying it. Yeah, it's couldn't have hoped for anything better. Everything's gone well. I've got a great management team, and I've signed with Frank Warren Promotions. Like, there's nothing better I can do. And like you said, we're with BT Sport now, so I've got a massive platform, and I'm just going to make the most of it.
I'm working with Danny Vaughan, winning combination.
Definitely, we've got some great lads there, and I'm learning every day. It's a really good experience in the gym, and he believes in me, and it's nice to have there's a lot of confidence in the gym, and we know we're going places, and we're gonna get titles this year.
How exciting can 2019 be for you? Because you hear Frank talking about the chance of going for belts, and you say there titles this year. If you could sit here 12 months from now, having had all those shows and all those fights on BT Sports, where would you hope to be?
I'd hope to be like, my goal would be like being on the verge of world title, or in contention, or at least my name's out there, getting spoke about at that level. That's my aim, and that's my goal, and I think it's achievable.
Yeah, and you're confident, Frank, that he's got that sort of talent.
He has got the talent. There's no doubt about that. It's up to me now to give him the platform to deliver on, and I'll do that. Got my word on that.
Well, best of luck for the 23rd of March, and let's turn our attention now to Big Nathan. A moment or two ago, we heard from Daniel Dubois, and he's talking about the inevitability of fighting you at some stage and the certainty of beating you. What was it like sitting there hearing that?
Yeah, he's entitled to his opinion, obviously, but there's no doubt in my mind I've got the beating of Daniel. That's why I've been screaming for this fight. Don't get me wrong, I can understand what Frank wants to do. Let's both build, let's keep the unbeaten record. When we meet, it'll be a big fight and a great fight. Why do you think you'd beat him? I just know he'll beat him. Fighter's mentality. I know him. We've shared 2 or 3 years on the GB team together. I just know I'll beat him. And what would be the key if you got in the ring against Daniel? My style. What do you see as his weakness then? Is it your speed? Is it your punch volume? Yeah, my punch volume, obviously, my movement, my speed, and just my style will clash against him. Frank, we spoke a moment or two ago about a dream fight in the making. It takes some building. They need to keep on winning, but clearly it's one that you'd want. Oh, without a doubt. They want it. More than I want it. They want it. They'd do it tomorrow. There's no doubt about that. But, there's a time and a place for it. As I mentioned earlier, we'll determine the right time and the right place. But when it happens, it's going to be something special. It's going to be one of those special moments. Nathan, 15 out of 15. The last 2 have had to go the distance. Has that been something that's been a source of frustration? Yeah, of course. Everyone loves a knockout highlight. Me first one, as I put it in Brentwood, the first 30 seconds I picked up an injury. It happens in boxing. I had an hand injury. I had to box one-handed virtually for the full 8 rounds. And then my last one against Scajano, what Daniel said before. You know, he's a very messy fighter. He knows how to spoil a fight. You know, he talks to the referee, gains seconds. He gets 10, 20 seconds rest each fight. It's very clever tactics. You know, I'm learning on the job. I only had 11 amateur fights. You know, this is my learning now in these professional fights.
So, in an ideal world, you'd like to find another stoppage and something spectacular in Leicester?
Yeah, definitely. You know, looking for the KO reel in Leicester. That's what we're aiming for.
Now, the guy who's going to be selling a lot of tickets in Leicester comes from not too far up the road in Ibstock, old Leicestershire mining territory. Sam Bowen, he'll be enjoying being top of the bill in pretty much your hometown.
Yeah, like I say, I'm really excited. Obviously, we've had to postpone it a month, but no, training, everything's going well, and yeah, I can't wait to get in there, especially in Leicester as well.
Frank, how good's this lad?
I like him. I mean, I thought it was a tremendous performance, his last fight. I think he done exceptionally well. It's how you win fights. You know, we all know that your opponent is what it is, but it's how you win the fight, how good you look winning. And he's got a great boxer's mind, he's got a great boxing brain, and he's going to go places, there's no doubt about that.
And a fight that he's going to be taking, have you got an opponent in mind?
No, we're working on that now. I mean, poor sod twice there. I mean, to announce a show and the guy pulls out on the day, you know, what can you do? But anyway, we're working on it, and as I say, we'll announce it hopefully the end of this week.
Last word for you then, Sam, being top of the bill and up there in front of your own people in Leicester. What's it going to mean to you to go out there and hear that crowd?
Yeah, like I say, I have a job in hand to concentrate on. So my aim is to obviously box and win. I take in all the applaud and all the excitement after, because obviously you don't want to get wrapped into too much of it before, because you can lose the focus on the fight. But no, like I say, after that last fight, you can see my reaction. I was buzzing, like in front of all my friends, family. It was packed. You could hear them. Like I say, everyone was shouting for me. And like I say, best place to fight in Leicester. That's where I'm from. Literally born in Leicester. So.
British title at the moment, but of course, in the not too far distance, world title, the ambition.
Yeah, like I say, I've got a British title. I won in April last year, the WBO Intercontinental on the Leicester show. My aim is to get as far as I can. It is hard, obviously, with the opponents that keep pulling out. But by all means, I'd love to be in the line of world title by the end of the year. It'd be amazing. That's the aim. So.
Well, all the best for that, and let's hope that one happens.
It will.
Thank you.
That's the 23rd of March in Leicester, so good luck, lads. And if we can move on from there, we're now going to be talking all things super middleweights with Billy Joe Saunders.
Lovely. Thanks, fellas.
Thanks.
Thank you. In the middle, Bill. No, go on, you jump in the middle.
Billy, good to see you.
There you go.
And first of all, Frank, the news, I guess, to start with, is that Billy is moving right back immediately into world title contention.
He is. He's moving up a weight to super middleweight, and he's going to challenge the mandatory challenger Shefat Isufi for the vacant title.
Shefat Isufi, a name that people won't know a huge amount about. Tell us what you've been able to learn, Billy.
That we're both fat bastards, that's for sure. One, because he come down from heavyweight to cruiserweight, now to super middle. You know, he's had some good wins. You know, it's just a new chapter for me. I mean, middleweight, I tried everything to make the big fights happen out of my David Lemieux performance. You know, there were the Canelo fight, the Golovkin fight we chased. So it's just about giving myself another option now, instead of looking in that one room. You know, now I can go back down to middleweight, start super middleweight. So wherever the big fights present themselves, I'm there.
Brief apology about the word which came out there.
What, fat?
And we'll,
fat, yeah.
We'll carry on, though, from there. You look back at 2018, and there have been things, I guess, really, which, with the benefit of hindsight, you wouldn't have wanted to have happened.
Yeah, look, everything happens for a reason. You know, 2018 was a terrible year for me in my boxing career, to say the least. But you know, when you get knocked down, it's not staying there. It's how you come back. And you know, I got Tyson Fury. I look up to, chat to him every day, and see what he's come through. This gives you that little bit of more belief. And you know, you can sit down, mope around, and feel sorry for yourself, or you can get on with it and think, right, well, I'm going to get straight back where I left off. And so I'm here. So I'm at fighting for the super middleweight world title. It's a new chapter. You know, how will I be at the weight? You know, will I be a better fighter? Will it not suit me as much? Time will tell.
There was the business of not getting the fights in America because of the drugs issue, rightly or wrongly. I know that you've got legal action against the board, the states responsible for that over there, and also the business which brought you the £100,000 fine from the British Boxing Board of Control regarding the video. Now, without going into details of that, I guess both things you would say, I wish I'd not done that.
Yeah, you know, for the drugs one, first of all, I didn't do anything wrong. You know, from the British Boxing Board of Control's eyes, I was fit to box anywhere in the world, and from other drug testing agencies, I was fit to box. It was just the VADA one that wasn't happy of what they found. But you know, it's very strange because I've allegedly failed on the Wednesday, but passed on the Saturday, the second sample. So, you know, it was one of them, but, you know, that's behind me now, and you can mope about it. And, you know, the video is just, you know, getting carried away with myself, a little bit stupid, very stupid. I got rightly dealt with for it. So, you know, but all that is behind me now. I'm putting, you know, a new chapter of my boxing career on. I wanna get back bigger and better than ever, you know. So, super middleweight world title is the way forward. We've got some big fights happening the weekend at that. I would love the winner. You've got Callum Smith, you've got all them big fights. So if the Golovkin and Canelos now don't want it, maybe I can get a big one in the UK.
And you're only 29. I mean, people think you've been around a long time, but you're not an old guy. You've still got time to do all this.
Yeah, listen, I mean, look, I'm not one of these. Anybody who knows me, you know, I'll get heavy, but I'm not one of these who go drinking and partying. I'm not one of those. So I've got plenty of life left in me, and you know, I'm willing to fight anybody at the weight, anybody at all, from super middleweight to middle. It's down to Frank to make them. You know, he's delivered what I asked for. I said, look, Frank, I boxed in Manchester. It was just to get me a run out and to get a young kid, Denver, to do the ring walk, really. So that was inspiring to do that, and who sadly passed away, God bless him. And after that, I said, Frank, you know, back in the new year, I want a world title fight. So him and my team got together and come up with this, and I think it's a very good move to put me in position for the big names.
Was there any points during that last year when you thought, I can't be bothered with this anymore?
No, I think that, look, boxing is one of them sports. You know, somebody can be a superhero for one night, the next night, then, you know, they get beat the next fight and they're a nobody again. Everybody remembers, you know, the losses and, you know, forgets about the wins. And I think that, you know, it's about how you present yourself. And I didn't really present myself or do myself any favours in 2018. So I didn't really, you know, it do get you down, but I didn't really think like that. In the back, even if I said it out loud, in the back of my mind, I thought, I know what I got to get back.
I know what I think, Frank. I mean, when somebody mentions Billy Joe, I think of December 2017 and that phenomenal performance in Montreal when he did David Lemieux.
It was one of the best overseas from a British fighter. You know, as far as boxing is concerned, there's no doubt about that. You know, last year, some things self-inflicted, other things unfairly done. As far as I'm concerned with Massachusetts, as I say, some stupid things done, but that's it. That's gone. You can't change it. Today's what counts. He's a great fighter. You know, he's done it. He's always, whenever it come down to it, he's pulled it out and he's done what he's had to do. He's now another phase of his career. He's become a two-weight world champion. If he comes through that, then there are some great opportunities for great domestic matches, as well as the Canelos. You know, Canelo will never fight Billy Joe, ever. Never fight him. They don't fancy that fight. That Lemieux fight, I said at the time to him, immediately after the fight, we will never be able to make that fight. You know, we're sitting there and I'm watching the Golden Boy team and I looked over to say we're going to do it, and they did not want to know. And as for Golovkin, he signed for him twice. We signed the contracts twice, sent them back. That didn't happen for various reasons. So we've got to make things happen. So there's some great fights there. Callum Smith, the winner of the fight this weekend. You know, I don't know who the winner's going to be. Out the two of them, it depends which DeGale. That fight for me is all about James DeGale. What James DeGale shows up. It's going to be a fella who lost against Truax here get beat. But if it's, you know, if it's a good James DeGale, he should win the fight. But whatever happens, they are great domestic fights now to be made. Big money fights for these fellas. And that's where he wants to be. He wants to be in fights that appeal to him. The harder, the tougher the fight for Bill, the better you get out of him. the better his boxing brain is, the more of a challenge that he wants to overcome. That's where he's at. And now, and I think you mentioned earlier, seeing where Tyson has been, seeing what Tyson's been able to do, they both come from the same community. That's an inspiration for him. I'm not saying that all to, like blowing sugar and up his backside and so forth. It is an inspiration. Now it's all up to him. The only one who can ruin Billy Joe Saunders' career now is an exceptional boxer, and they're going to have to be exceptional to beat him, or Billy Joe Saunders. And the biggest threat is Billy Joe Saunders to himself. So provided he can stay focused, look at him now, he looks well, he looks fit, provided he stays focused, on the right road, he can go down as being one of the great fighters of this 21st century from Britain. He can do it. You've seen it. You've seen him, as you said, against Lemieux and so forth. He's got it in him. And what he did when he beat Saunders. Sorry, beat
Eubank.
Beat Chris Eubank, when he beat him. You watched that fight. I know he was 70%. He's never said it. He was 70%. He weren't 100% for that fight. And he won the fight. Looking at the two of them now, my God, I know I'd have my money on big time.
So, another big fight for BT viewers.
BT subscribers.
April
It's for the subscribers, and it'll be on the 13th of April at Wembley. So he's got home advantage. He's got everything we can to deliver him. He's got the platform. He's got the fantastic broadcaster behind him. And the subscribers, I know, are going to be in for a treat on the night.
And there'll be a few people who'll have booked hotel rooms on April the 13th, I'm sure, at Wembley. And a certain big fight's not going to be happening. Another big fight is going to be happening. So get yourself down.
We always knew there was going to be a big fight at Wembley on the 13th, and we made it happen.
Billy, last word for you. They're calling it Redemption Night. You want to produce something special and show that you're a real fighter again.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's about that want, and you don't really know what you got till it's gone. But I will be super middleweight world champion, and this year is sink or swim. So I just want to say a big thank you to, obviously, Frank Warren Promotions. Big thank you to BT Sport and my management, MTK. So look forward to seeing you all there, and a good night.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here today. And thank you to all the boxers, and look forward to a fantastic year in 2019.